Okay, hello everyone. Today we're making another reading from Reddit video. Reading from Reddit. Because Eddie says that I need to make more content that people want to watch. Apparently. So let's just get started. My fiance, 27F, ended our engagement over text and exploded when I, 27M, accepted the breakup. A little bit of a problematic age gap there. There's not enough of one. I'm numb, trying to process how my engagement evaporated overnight. Yeah, you and me both, pal. We've been together for 1 year and 8 months, engaged since last October. She is bisexual with 2 female exes, and she constantly compared me to them. That is hot. Congratulations, pal. In those past relationships, she was always the masculine one. Early on, I told her it was completely okay, and that I accepted that about her. Oh, you want a cookie? But she never treated me like a fiance. When she took me to hang out with her friends, she wouldn't even introduce me. She just told me I'm a grown man and should interact with them myself. I'm introverted and too shy to initiate without an introduction. So I was left sitting there like a rock. Well, that is pathetic and sad. That's sad. So you got to work on that. I had my shortcomings too. I was constantly stressed, managing a heavy workload, paying bills, and financially supporting my cousin through college. It made me preoccupied and spaced out. Meanwhile, she always demanded weekend travels, leaving me no money or time to rest. The breaking point happened when she had a female friend stay at my house. For 2 nights, they cuddled in bed. Knowing her history, I admitted it made me jealous and uncomfortable. She brushed me off. I will do what I want to do. Bahala ka. Deal with it. Communication shattered. We had a massive fight on June 1, and she checked out. I spent days begging her to give us another chance, but she kept saying she didn't love me anymore. I don't understand what advice you need here. What could possibly be the problem that is in any way ambiguous? She said she didn't love me anymore. Yesterday, completely exhausted, I finally texted her that I wanted to break up since I couldn't keep chasing someone who didn't care. Tonight, she sent the final blow, telling me she doesn't love me and not to waste her time. She already said that the night before. Remember when she said she didn't love you anymore? That typically is what most people understand as the end of a relationship. So I'm not sure why that didn't sink in there. Telling me she doesn't love me anymore and not to waste her time. It broke me, but I didn't beg this time. I took the high road. I'm sorry, there's no road. There's no road. You are not taking any road. You are getting broken up with. That's what that is. You don't have a choice in that scenario. I calmly texted back, accepting her decision, apologized for my flaws, and thanked her for everything. My calm acceptance drove her insane. She exploded into brutal personal attacks. Text shouting, "You're proving me right. You're okay right away with the breakup." What the fuck? Where is your manhood? She called me a backboneless boy who needs his mother, said no girl would ever want me, and demanded I go tell her family we are over. Well, I hope during that you were enjoying yourself, because that's would be something that some people would get off to that. Not me. I'm not saying me, but some people, so again, count your blessings. Why did I say that? Her text was an emotional trap. She expected me to crawl and beg again. When I acted like an adult and accepted her boundary, she lost her leverage and lost her mind. I sent one final text, told her to enjoy her weekend, and that I'm coming over this Saturday to face her parents directly, explain the breakup, get my things, and return her motorcycle. She immediately replied with more rage, blaming me for not fighting for her. I left her on red. TLDR, my fiancé, 27F, of 1 year, 8 months, constantly compared me, 27, you're just saying the same thing again. I'm skipping this. Edit, wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for the insights, everyone. Edit 2, for context on her parents, I'm Filipino, and letting the family know about a breakup is a major cultural thing there. They've been incredibly kind and treated me like a son, so it just feels right to talk to them. All right. Okay, this is a classic example of a post that is purely made so that everybody can tell the person, wow, you are the most persecuted person on the face of the planet. You did what you needed to do. You told her she's crazy. That's what you want to hear. You're not looking for advice. What advice do you need? The only advice you need is to get patted on the back. So I refuse to do that. And you know what I'll say? You are not the victim here, because you allowed the behavior to get to this point. You are spineless. You're a spineless boy. She was right. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten to the point where she was able to say that about you. She's only doing the pattern that you have set. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then you come running to Reddit on the internet, begging strangers to tell you what a strong person you are. It makes me sick. Just ridiculous. All right. My husband, M31, admitted he lied to me about a deal breaker before we got married. Wow. About a week before we got married, I told my husband that joining the military would be a deal breaker for me. I have nothing against people who serve cunt. I shouldn't have said that. Eddie, take that out, please. I don't know why I've been doing this so much today. I have nothing against people who serve, but I do not want the military spouse lifestyle. I kind of suspected this may be of interest to him, which is why we had this conversation. I eventually want children, and I don't want to raise a family with the possibility of a parent being deployed, absent from military obligations, or put in dangerous situations. I also don't want to move around frequently. It was very clear that this was not a life I wanted for myself. He reassured me and told me it wasn't an issue and that he had no interest in joining the military. Now, 3 weeks after our wedding, he told me that he wants to join. He says he may only join the National Guard because it's less dangerous. Useless is the word you're looking for. But he also admitted that joining the military has always been a dream of his. When I asked why he told me he wasn't interested before we got married, he admitted that he lied because he was afraid I would leave him, and immediately started talking about potentially getting a divorce, claiming I'm keeping him from his dreams. I told him that I support him pursuing the life he wants. Do you? I don't want to stand in the way of his dreams, and I know if he gives them up for me, he may resent me for it later. He resents you now, sister. There's a little clue to that based on the fact that he wants to get a divorce. My feelings about the military have not changed. I still do not want to be a military spouse, and I still do not want that lifestyle for my future family. More than that, I'm having a hard time getting past the fact that he knowingly lied to me about something he knew was a deal breaker before we got married. I would not have gone through with the marriage knowing this and feel very deceived. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate a situation where my husband wants a future that I explicitly said was incompatible with the life I want, and where he admits he concealed that from me before we got married. How would you approach this situation, and what would you be focusing on if you were in my position? Well, I would have never allowed myself to be in a situation like this, because this is only a situation that you can get into if you're stupid. So I honestly don't have any advice for this person, because this is not a situation that I ever would have gotten into in the first place. Divorce him, don't divorce him. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Sounds like you both have a terrible relationship and you hate each other anyway. I just don't get it. It's like if these people would understand the only thing that's keeping them in these relationships where they both hate each other is that they're afraid of being alone. So being alone is not that bad. You're just addicted to the other person when you're in a relationship. All you have to do is go through the withdrawal phase, which is about a couple years, and then you'll be fine. But people don't want to make it through that phase. Even if they do make it through a little bit of the phase, they get addicted to another person too soon before they made it out of the withdrawals. Divorce him. Like he asked. This is now two stories in a row where somebody has explicitly said, I want a divorce from you. I want to break up with you. And the person's like, I don't know what to do. Does anybody have any advice for what I should do? What do you mean you don't know what to do? You do know what to do. You just don't want to do it. Write that down. All right, moving on. My girlfriend, 18F, is going to prom with another guy, while I'm, 19M, stuck in the hospital. And I don't know how to handle it. That's rough. I'm really struggling right now. I don't know how to talk to my friends about this, and I could really use some outside perspective. A few weeks ago, I sold my gaming PC for $900 so I could buy a plane ticket and fly out to attend my girlfriend's prom. Long distance relationship. Doomed. Don't even bother. Sorry to say it. I was genuinely excited about it and seeing her. Then I got seriously injured and ended up in the hospital. I suffered a TBI from a lacrosse game. Doctors won't let me fly until the swelling in my brain goes down. Her prom is this week, so there's basically no chance I'll make it. My girlfriend still wants to go to prom, which I completely understand. It's her senior prom, and I want her to have an amazing night. I don't want to ruin that experience for her. The problem is that now she's going with another guy. She's taking this guy to everything. Pre-prom stuff, dinner, the dance, after prom stuff, and the after party. He'll basically be there for the entire night. I trust her. You shouldn't. You should not. In this situation. And I don't think she's cheating on me. She is. But the thought of waking up in a hospital bed and opening my phone to see prom pictures of my girlfriend dressed up with another guy is genuinely killing me. I've never cried over something she's done before, but I've been in tears over this. This is sad. I feel guilty because I know it's not her fault. It is. And I don't want to make her feel bad about enjoying her prom. At the same time, I feel hurt and jealous. Adding to all of this, I'm out nearly $1,000. I no longer have a gaming PC. I'm stuck in the hospital, and the thing I was most excited for is happening without me. Am I being unreasonable for feeling this upset? How would you handle this situation without making your partner feel guilty for something that isn't really their fault? Kind of is. A little bit. Just a little bit. Small update. Unfortunately, I wasn't eligible for a refund from Air Canada. That explains everything. since I missed the flight and don't have travel insurance. It sucks, but there's not much I can do about it now. If I recover somewhat, I'm going to try to get a summer job if my doctors clear me to work. Hopefully I can save up enough to buy a ROG Ally so I can at least get back to gaming and have some sense of familiarity from all this. Still a pretty rough situation, but I'm trying to focus on recovering first and figuring everything else out later. Update. I tried to tell her how I felt. I didn't tell her not to go to prom with him or anything like that. I just told her how I was feeling. I even let back a few things in hopes of not making her feel bad, but she felt like I was making her feel guilty. She asked for a break because worrying about me being in the hospital and the condition I'm in is getting too much for her, and how she's still in high school and wants to have fun in her last year without having to worry about me. I feel like this is all my fault. I genuinely wish I never got this injury, but at least none of this would have happened. I feel lost and I don't know what to do anymore. I've lost so many things from this for nothing. Boy, what a pathetic fucking sad sack of shit. Yikes. I feel like I need a shower after that one. You know, if I could just play first of all, yes, of course, your life sucks. And I think you know that, right? Everybody knows that. I would argue that perhaps nobody's life has ever sucked more than yours right now, right? Now, I can see the girlfriend's perspective as well. I mean, imagine it's like your prom, it's your senior year, you know, you're trying to just fucking enjoy yourself. Meanwhile, you have the saddest sack of shit on the face of the earth, somewhere across the country, who's just on your leg like a fucking dumbbell. God, I mean, really a downer. That's really a downer. I mean, think about it like this. You know, you're at prom. You're having fun. You're going, woo! You pull out your phone that's in your pocket and you get a text from your long-distance boyfriend saying, I'm crying again. I'm in the hospital alone. I spent all my money. I have nothing left to live for anymore. And you're like, Jesus, fuck. You know, it's like... The good news is that now that your life has been completely destroyed, the only way from here is up. So you can rebuild a totally new life. And you'll be better off for it. You know? Because I think at this point, you got to start asking yourself, why did any of this happen? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe you injured yourself purposely playing lacrosse so that you could do a hard reset. That's what I like to call this kind of thing. You know, on a computer, when you turn the button off, all the way off, and you hold it really long, that's what's happening with your life right now, to put it into terms that you'll understand. So you just got to reboot. That was a downer. Jeez. Let's see if we can find a fun one next. Yikes. I want to kill myself on behalf of him. My girlfriend, 26F, said she probably wouldn't date me, 27M, if we met today, and it's been stuck in my head ever since. My girlfriend, 26F, and I, 27M, have been together for almost 4 years. A few nights ago, we were just talking about random stuff, and somehow ended up on the topic of how different we both are compared to when we first met. At some point I asked, do you think we'd still end up together if we met today? I said yes pretty much instantly. She laughed and said, honestly, probably not. I thought she was joking at first, but she was being serious. She explained that when we first met, we were both broke college students and in similar places in life. Since then, she's built a really successful career and has become a lot more ambitious. I'm doing fine for myself. I have a stable job, pay my bills, and I'm happy with where I'm at. I've just never been the type of person who's constantly chasing promotions or trying to climb the ladder. You're saying that now because you are a failure. And I am not trying to make you feel bad. All I'm saying is that is your coping mechanism for the fact that you're a failure. and it is too painful for you to aspire to anything else. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. She said she loves me and that none of this changes how she feels about our relationship now. But I can't lie. The comment kind of stung. Ever since then, I've been wondering what she actually meant. Was she just talking about how different our lives are now? Or was she basically saying I wouldn't be her type anymore? I haven't brought it up again because I don't want to make a huge deal out of one comment, but it's definitely been sitting in the back of my mind. How would you bring something like this up again without making it sound like you're looking for an argument? Well, here's the thing. Okay. The reason this is bothering you, and the reason why you want to bring it up, is because you want her to tell you that you're not a failure. But you are. See the problem there? So she's never going to be able to give you what you want. The only thing that you're going to get out of bringing it up to her is to make her lie and say, all right, yeah, sure, whatever. I think you're hot and I think that you're successful and fine. You know? The truth is, when you're in a relationship for a long time, you sort of get a little complacent because it's like, yeah, I don't really need to worry about it. I got this person on lock, you know? So what difference does it make now? And you know what? She's probably saying that because you probably wouldn't be attractive to her now, right? Because you're a failure. I mean, I'm sorry, but I what do you want any of us to say? What do you want me to say? What do you want her to say? You know? I mean, if you were confident in your life, this wouldn't bother you. Because you'd be like, I don't give a fuck if you would meet me or not. I'd be able to do whatever I want. So, sorry. It's just sad. Sad. This one's called The Gift of Mayonnaise. Eddie, cut that one out. We can't go there. It's too controversial. All right. Roommate basically lives in a living room. I, M29, feel trapped in my room. How can we navigate this? I recently moved into a shared apartment with 2 bedrooms. Our rooms are opposite of each other and connected by a huge living room in the middle, which contains a couch/TV, balcony, and seating area. Oh, thank you. I didn't realize this was our architectural plans. Because of the layout, you have to walk through this room to get to the bathroom, kitchen, or leave the apartment. My problem is that my roommate basically lives there 24/7. I wake up at 5:30, leave the house at 6 for work, and come back at 19:30. What? Just say the time normal, okay? You're not going to get a most interesting way somebody says what time it is award. Whenever I come home, he already sits in the living room watching TV loudly or playing shooter games. He is a student, works from home in the living room, and rarely goes out to see his friends. Great. This is the worst. No. See, this is the worst possible living situation because it is 2 losers who never leave the house. That is doomed to fail always. A roommate situation needs to be an introvert and an extrovert. Never try to put 2 introverts in the same house. It will end catastrophically. He stays up until 2 to 4 in the morning and sleeps until 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We don't really need to know that. On weekends, he occupies the room all day. Recently, he started sleeping on the couch for 1 to 2 days a week because he has insomnia and doesn't inform me beforehand. Well, it's his fucking house. What's he got to text you and tell you I'm going to sleep in the living room? Why would he inform you beforehand? I find it uncomfortable to be scared in the morning by him. He lives there. I tried taking up more space, e.g. quickly sitting on the couch whenever he's out for buying groceries. But then he seemed frustrated, asked me when I'm done watching, and joked around that I'm in his spot. I mean, you are. Why would you do that? What problem is that going to solve? I hate this guy. I feel stressed. This is doubled by the fact that even if I'm on the couch, he passes in front of the TV to smoke on the balcony every 30 to 60 minutes. He lives there! Yesterday, I told him I can't make him stop smoking, as I knew it when I moved in, but he should please stop randomly sleeping in the living room. Why? As I feel trapped in my room because I can hear him snoring and don't like sitting in the living room. So what's the problem? If you don't like sleeping in the living room, at least shoot me a message beforehand. He doesn't get it. No, you don't get it. You don't get the fact that this is a cohabitation situation. That's his living room. It's your living room, but it's also his living room. You know, why would he text you that he's going to be in the living room? Hey, just so you know, I think I'm going to go in our living room now. Also, I told him I also want privacy in the living room. You don't get privacy in the living room because it's the living room. That's a common area, a shared space. There is no privacy in the living room. That's why it's the living room. If you want privacy, go in the bedroom. That's what that's for. He says he never stops me from using it. True. If he watches TV, I can just join. Yeah. But that's the problem. I cannot ever choose what's on TV. And doing stuff at the table when he's watching a movie or playing games is almost impossible for me. Oh my God. I can't believe that he lives in his house. I'm so sorry. How are you ever going to survive? He also doesn't get it since it's a common area. I should just ask to use it. How can we find a common ground? You have a common ground. It's the living room! I'm so mad. You're an idiot. Guys, what a nightmare. What a nightmare roommate to have. You. Judgmental prick who anally obsesses over every single fucking thing you do. Wants a text message to go in the living room. In his own fucking house. You don't even like being in the living room. How can we find a common ground? The gall. God. All right, I need to calm down. My boyfriend, 25M, tattooed a random girl's face, and I, 24F, feel weird about it. My boyfriend and I have been together for 6 months. Recently, he said he wanted to get a tattoo. I love tattoos and already have a few myself, so I was really excited to see what he was going to get. He told me he didn't want to show anyone the design until after he got it done. That honestly wasn't weird for him because he likes doing little surprise reveals and keeping things secret for fun. What else does he keep secret for fun? Well, he came back from the appointment and I was shocked. On his forearm, there's this really beautiful tattoo of some girl's face with flowers and geometric shapes around her head. The tattoo itself is genuinely very well done. But who the hell is that girl? All caps. He told me he doesn't know who she is and that he found the image on Pinterest years ago and had it saved since. He even showed me the reference photo. And it was literally a photo of someone else's tattoo of the exact same girl. I asked him why he would copy someone else's tattoo exactly, and more importantly, why tattoo the face of some random woman he doesn't even know? Maybe she doesn't even exist. But maybe she's just walking around somewhere while my boyfriend has her face permanently tattooed on his arm. And just to be clear, if he had tattooed my face after only 6 months together, I honestly would have been even more uncomfortable. That would have been a huge ick for me too. Well, thank you for letting us know about how you would feel in a situation that didn't happen. That's really useful information for us. Lost my place. What makes this weirder for me is that he has so many important women in his life whose faces could have inspired the tattoo. He has an amazing relationship with his mom, so he could have done something inspired by her. His cousin has been his best friend since childhood, and that also would have been meaningful. Or he literally could have asked an artist to draw an original female face instead of copying a random Pinterest tattoo. I genuinely don't know if I'm being weird about this or not. For me, it's not even about the fact that it's another woman's face. It's the fact that the original tattoo might have actually been more meaningful to the person who first got it. And my boyfriend just copied it exactly without any personal meaning behind it. Oh, cut the horse shit. You're jealous because it's some other woman's face. So admit that. Talking about the originality of the tattoo. Give me a break. You're full of shit. Edit. Okay, now that I've read all your comments and we've discussed it, I want to go back to the situation and add a bit more context. Yes, of course you do, because you realize that the context you provided made you look like a fucking crazy person. And so now you gotta be like, no. Actually, I meant it all wrong before. I thought that saying these details would make me seem normal, but they didn't because I accurately expressed the situation. So let me go back in retrospect and lie to make me sound better. So let's hear this. When I saw the tattoo, I immediately told him I liked it. It's pretty and very well done. After that, I asked who the woman was. He said he didn't know and showed me the Pinterest picture. We both laughed. Over dinner, we started talking more about the tattoo and the woman in it. I told him my honest opinion, the same one I mentioned in the post. He said he hears me and understands me, but that he simply decided to get the tattoo because ever since he saw the image, he wanted it. We didn't argue. He doesn't feel bad about my opinion and respects it, just like I respect his. No, you don't. You don't respect his opinion. You've been complaining about it for 5 paragraphs. Cut the fucking horse shit. He simply decided to get the tattoo because ever since he saw the image, I read that already. He doesn't feel bad about my opinion and respects it just like I respect his. No, you don't. I showed him the post and the comments. We laughed at some of them together. He also wants to say thank you for defending him, but it really isn't necessary. Yeah, it is necessary, because the only reason why you went back and reflected on the fact that you were being irrational and a lunatic is because you probably got a million comments that said you're a lunatic. That is the only time. Did you, as soon as she edited, she was like, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't really care about this at all. I'm totally fine with it. I'm a chill person. We won't be sharing a picture of the tattoo because I don't want our identities to be known. I use Reddit. Holy shit, there's another 5 paragraphs to this. I use Reddit anonymously and I don't want people finding me on Instagram. Okay. Like I said in one of my comments, I'm an amateur artist and I don't want Reddit people on my Instagram where I post my work or the other way around. Don't care. We don't need any of this information. My boyfriend and I are very... Also, if you don't want people to know about that, then why are you telling us? Of course you want people to know about that. That's why you've explained it for 3 sentences. My boyfriend and I are very open with each other, and everything I told you, I also told him. He's not poor guy and doesn't need defending. Our relationship is very healthy and good. You know, the more that you say that, it actually makes it seem like that's not the case. Especially now that we're a throuple with the Pinterest tattoo lady, wink face. You're bringing it up again. You can't stop bringing this up. Clearly, it doesn't bother you based on the fact that you keep bringing it up over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Edit 2. Some of you need to calm down a little. There's still 3 more paragraphs, by the way. I asked for your opinions and advice on how not to feel weird about this tattoo, but I still have a right to my own opinion. I'll always stand by what I think while also respecting other people's views. Everyone has the right to... Yeah, you know, I really got the impression that you respect everybody else's views based on the fact that you made several edits telling people, stop telling me how you feel about this. I'm just a dramatic girly with big feelings and strong opinions. Oh, congratulations. How revolutionary. In the post, I explained what was going through my head at the time. And in the edit, I shared how everything actually played out with him. I love Reddit. Yeah, no kidding. And I love reading stories like this, so I decided to share mine. I don't love reading stories like this. This is the type of thing where it's like, it's the same thing with cops, how anybody who wants to be a cop probably shouldn't be one. Anybody who wants to post on Reddit probably shouldn't do it. It's dangerous for the rest of society. To me, that's the whole point of a discussion. Hearing different perspectives and understanding something that you might not have considered before. Thank you so much for defining what a conversation is. Also, English isn't my first language. Sometimes I translate sentences directly from my native language, so my point doesn't always come across the way that I intended. It comes across fine, sister. Sorry, I need to calm down after that. I'm very upset.